Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this week's Headmaster's blog. It's Friday, the 5th of February. On Wednesday morning, we had a great school assembly, exploring our term's value of integrity in further depth. And Mrs. Wraith, the values coordinator, unpicked exactly how you boys can manifest that important quality on a day-to-day basis, at home as equally as you can do at school. And we were joined, fittingly, by her own son, Jem, who is now managing director of a care home in Croydon. And obviously, while schools have been hit hard by the pandemic, the industry of care homes has been hit harder still. And he has had, I imagine, an incredibly difficult time keeping everybody on side and managing their expectations during such a period of uncertainty. And he was able to articulate very clearly how three key values have helped him negotiate those particularly uncharted waters. And they were empathy, the ability to relate to other people, kindness, so day-to-day small opportunities to be able to make people feel better about themselves, and trust, being able to be honest, having candour, not being afraid to convey a difficult or tricky message, but doing so in a way that is honest, truthful, but also appropriate to the context and time. And he was able to indicate exactly how he has learnt in his job that those values are non-negotiable. And it was a really interesting parallel between that role and indeed us working together and being a school community, because ultimately they are, of course, very transferable values and ones that we would hope would be manifested in every walk of life on a day-to-day basis. But Mrs. Wraith and Jem, thank you very much indeed for providing us with such an informative and practically useful assembly at such a busy time. It's really, really appreciated. Thank you also to our very talented boys who showcased their wares in last night's half-term informal music concert. Miss Foster, I know, is incredibly proud of your efforts, as am I, and it was a real lovely light relief to see so many of you looking so happy and being creative and performing all of your varied instruments, or indeed your singing voices, to such great effect. It was a really lovely way to be able to come into the weekend. So thank you, Miss Foster, for putting it all together. A really professional performance, I thought. And boys, thank you so much. I look forward to one in the second half of term. And if there's anybody out there who hasn't got involved in that yet, please do have a chat with Miss Foster. I know she'd be really keen for you to participate if you can. On Tuesday, we heard the sad news that Captain Tom had passed away. And of course, earlier in 2020, Captain Tom shot to prominence when he raised over £33 million for the National Health Service. Initially, of course, he was just going to walk around his own house, which is quite a large house, to be fair to him, 100 times because it was his centenary year. And I think his initial target was to try and raise £1,000 for the NHS. But of course, during that lockdown, everybody jumped onto the bandwagon of this good news story, and Captain Tom and his efforts went viral, not just in the UK, but across the world, and propagated this enormous cult status that he then enjoyed for the rest of his life. And I just thought it was incredibly interesting that Captain Tom, in the last few months, the twilight of his life, not only managed to achieve such a significant milestone in terms of altruism and making a very clear financial contribution to the NHS because of his good deeds, but he could never have predicted that he was going to top the UK singles charts, that he was going to be bestowed a knighthood and indeed actually live through his 100th birthday. So although Captain Tom departs us, his legacy, I think, is very much still alive, and his epitaph, "Tomorrow will be a good day," has never been more apt. On a related note, the art of positive thinking has never been more important, and this week has been National Mental Health week for children, and we have had lots of initiatives here at the school to try and propagate the importance of growth mindsets during these dark days. And next week is actually our formal Wellbeing week, where we will have an even more refocused efforts on mental health, positive thinking and online safety. And actually the reason it didn't tie in with the National Week is because normally this would be our play week, and we're very sad obviously that we're not able to be at the Nescott Theatre and deliver Mrs Hawley's inaugural performance, which would have been stellar, I am sure. I know that she's got lots of ideas lined up for next term, but of course that is an all-encompassing showpiece event for the school, and when originally planned it would have been this week, hence why our own Wellbeing week is next week. But what it does mean is that we've been able to devote a fortnight to this very important cause rather than a single week. Mr Mitchell and Miss Timothy have been working incredibly hard and have put together a wonderful pack of resources that will be undertaken both by the teachers at school, and we hope that you will indeed join in with some of those initiatives yourself, parents, and get involved, because I think certainly the collective element will be very, very powerful. So please do get involved and look out for them. And finally, you may recall that in recent times I talked about the plight of Alexei Navalny, the Russian politician who was arrested upon his return to Moscow a week or two ago. And of course we've seen now that he has been imprisoned for 3 years on charges that are dubious at best. So I'm disappointed to relate that to you. And secondly, we have seen in Myanmar this week the leader, Aung San Suu Kyi, arrested and detained in her own house. The democratically elected leader of what was Burma has now been subject to a military coup, and she is, as I say, a prisoner in her own home, and the charges against her are, I believe, for being in possession of illegal radios, which turned out to be nothing more than walkie-talkies. And on that note, I really must just emphasise that we really must not take for granted the liberties that we enjoy in this country, even at such a difficult time. The ability to have freedom of speech and expression must not be taken for granted and must never ever be overlooked as we see these events unfold across the rest of the world. On to Mentions in Dispatches this week. Well done to Jack Swallow for working very hard with Miss O'Shea, to Zane Jarwed for your excellent classwork and videos and music, to Year 3 for their science work with Mrs Marskell, to Gregory Chung for excellent use of collage from Mrs Wraith, and Jamie Chatfield for his music. Well done to Cameron Edwards for always doing your best and still doing Mr Lordy's workout even though your arm has been in a sling. To Ryan Battier, well done for a fantastic hat that you've made for enrichment. And well done to all Lower Prep boys for their French work. Congratulations to Henry Shern in 5F for stepping up in maths, and to Harrison Wallace for working very hard. Well done to Frankie Larter, who's shown great etiquette. When he missed the Upper Prep pupil briefing, he sent a message of apology and emailed Mr Clark as well. So he was doing the right thing and being his best self. Well done, Frankie. Lucas Christie's been showing a great attitude to home learning, and Dylan Newman has been retaining his positivity with a great big lovely smile at the start of lessons. Rex Treadwell, well done for making a great headdress design. Tristan Bush and Jeremy Blackman too, well done boys. Hanara Choi's been working incredibly hard all the way from Korea, and even with the time difference is one of the first ready for registration, so well done Hanara. Digby Harris has been working very hard and stepped up to the mark, being punctual and ready for lessons, completed good work in English and French. Izan Siddiqui has been very helpful to Mr Westcott. James McDowell has been entertaining classmates with an array of card tricks. I'm not sure that that's a life skill, but it's certainly good fun. I'd love to see one of those, James. Toby Cox, well done. You've been nominated for showing great organisation. And well done to all of 7BA. Mrs Weston's very pleased that you handed in your English work so promptly this week. Connor Towers has created a game based on exploding kittens, which teaches the players about fossil fuels. What a great idea. Max Rocheron and Connor again for handing in work at the end of music of a really good standard, and Ian Shafiq for excellent application of averages. Connor again, Josh McCrossan, Jasper Wong, Theo Walker and Toby Cox again for completing code breaking in ICT to a good standard. Ollie Dimmock and Elliot Nicolau have been discussing the birds that they've spotted as part of RSPB bird watching weekend. Well done, boys. And Shay Australia has been busy cooking at home, so well done to you. Enzo Reed has been sharing lots of information about his pet gecko. And Mrs. Webb would like to say well done to all of 7P for their excellent online etiquette. Henry Sweetman's been busy. He's doing the Couch to 5K. Well done, Henry. Joe Schooling continues his growth in confidence and efforts. Oscar Davino and Matt Mullin also. And Yvonne Tuchai, Tommy Wood and Rui Fitzpatrick continue to create a very good impression in class, particularly in music. Into Year 8, Sam McCaskill, Bogdan Podobrigora and Zachary Fitzgibbon have all done very well with their PSHE this week. Idris Ali Khan, well done for good French work in PSHE as well from Madame Taylor. And Mikey Fitzgibbon, congratulations on a really good collage of Boris Johnson in art. Mr. Clark would like to say, just generally for the upper prep, he's really enjoyed dropping into the form times at the end of the day, and he's heard some great discussions. In particular, he'd like to say thank you to Henry Rusco and also to Tristan Bush, who gave him an impromptu concert. Into Year 9, Tyrrell Byrne has been positive and friendly. Chris Hawksey trying his best and asking really great questions in music. Will Hamilton being his normal punctual self. Follow Ianni has been bringing other people joy by dancing through the pandemic. Thank you, Mr. Twinney. I think that's my favourite for this week. Ted Reese, well done for an excellent book project. Anthony Richard Mearnett, well done. Lots of hard work in science from you. And Marcus Glenn and Pete Duncan, great work in music. Well done for Mrs. Hornstetter to 10H. You've been very, very good in PSHE, showing a lot of empathy. That's a word we've already discussed today. So well done. Showing empathy for those in less fortunate circumstances, and you were pleasingly able to articulate how you can help, even in a small way. Great to hear. Rory Gibbs has taken his school council responsibilities very seriously this week. Jack Beckman and Ewan Walker have been nominated by Mr. March for their work on poetry. Max Mitchell-Nesbitt's done very well in his science. And Theo Spick has impressed Mr. Sikdeo by going the extra mile and coming back at the end of a lesson to clarify some work on histograms. And Mrs. Wraith is very pleased actually with all of the Year 10 artists. They've done some great work at home. Into Year 11, well done to Josh Johns and Maddie Hill, who have been having interviews for their sixth form this week. I have also got a practice here with Freddie Harrison booked in later today. You've done very well. Good luck with that, gentlemen. Mrs. Wraith, very pleased with the 11W catch-ups at the end of the day. Well done, guys, for keeping her very entertained. Freddie Harrison and Jack Leonard, thank you for helping out with the senior careers evening. Jean Park, well done for your excellent work in English. Good progress being made there, I understand. Harry Griffiths, very well done for you for your maths work this week. And Michael Cleaver for keeping all of his work up to date, very detailed and presented from Mrs. Webb. So as you can see, everybody, it has been another busy week here at Kingswood House, both at home and at school. The excellent work and industry continues unabated. And as we enter a weekend, I am particularly looking forward to seeing the skill sets of our top sportsmen undertaking a test match series against India, which got underway this morning. England batting first. I think this could be an intriguing series. I love my cricket. I'm very much looking forward to seeing that. And of course, the Six Nations rugby tournament starts tomorrow, and England kick off in an empty Twickenham Stadium against Scotland. That could be, I think, a very tight game indeed. But I, like all of you, I am sure, I'm looking forward to seeing how that unfolds. Certainly, I'm looking forward to that injection, if you'll forgive the pun, of joy and wonderment at seeing the most skilled sportsmen in the world demonstrate their technique. I'm looking forward to that immensely. I wish you all a super weekend.